Imagine a nation squeezed between two colossal giants, where every decision could tip the scales of power in one of the world's most volatile regions. Bangladesh, a country of over 170 million people, nestled in the fertile delta of the Ganges, finds itself at the epicenter of a high-stakes geopolitical tug-of-war. On one side, India. Its massive neighbor sharing a 4,000-kilometer border is a historical ally that helped birth the nation in 1971. On the other hand, China, the rising dragon from the east, is pouring billions into infrastructure and whispering promises of economic prosperity. Bangladesh is squeezed into just 57,000 square miles, about the size of Illinois, but still holds more people than Russia. It shares a 2,500-mile border with India that wraps around it like a horseshoe. To the southeast is Myanmar, currently imploding in civil war. And to the south is the Bay of Bengal, its only real opening to the world. Here's the kicker. 45 rivers flow into Bangladesh from India. India controls the water taps. During the dry season, India can choke Bangladesh's agriculture by holding back water. During monsoons, India can flood Bangladesh by releasing too much. The 1996 Ganges Water Treaty was supposed to fix this, but disputes continue every single year. India doesn't just surround Bangladesh geographically, it dominates it strategically, economically, and militarily. And India has never let Bangladesh forget who helped create their country. Rewind to 1971. East Pakistan, what is now Bangladesh, was being brutally suppressed by West Pakistan. India intervened militarily, helped the freedom fighters, and Bangladesh was born. India lost 3,900 soldiers in that war. The message was clear. Bangladesh owes its existence to India. For decades, India cashed in that debt. India has been Bangladesh's largest trading partner, but the relationship is wildly unbalanced. In 2022, Bangladesh imported $14 billion from India, but exported only $2 billion back. That's a $12 billion trade deficit, money bleeding out of Bangladesh's economy every single year. India also gets special transit rights through Bangladesh to reach its isolated northeastern states. Indian companies dominate Bangladesh's infrastructure projects. Even Bangladesh's power grid is connected to India's, literally dependent on Indian electricity. But here's where it gets really uncomfortable for Bangladesh. India's security paranoia. India's northeastern states, Assam, Tripura, and Meghalaya, are separated from mainland India by a narrow 14-mile corridor called the Siliguri Corridor, or Chicken's Neck. If Bangladesh ever turned hostile, it could cut India in half. The Bay of Bengal isn't just a body of water, it's the largest bay on Earth, spanning 2.17 million square kilometers. And Bangladesh controls critical access to it. But the real prize might be even smaller than you think. St. Martin's Island, Bangladesh's only coral island covering just 8 square kilometers, has become one of the most contested pieces of territory in Asia. Located near the Strait of Malacca, one of the world's busiest maritime choke points, control of this tiny island would give any nation a commanding view of shipping lanes carrying energy supplies to East Asia. Both the US and China have reportedly expressed interest in establishing a military presence there, offers that Bangladesh has so far refused. For 15 years, Sheikh Hasina walked a tightrope between India and China that few leaders could manage. She maintained Bangladesh's closest relationship with India, granting New Delhi access to Bangladeshi ports, cracking down on anti-India insurgents, and allowing India to use Bangladeshi territory for transit to its northeastern states. At the same time, she welcomed Chinese investment, accepted billions in Belt and Road Initiative funding for infrastructure projects. But by July 2024, her government was facing its greatest crisis. What started as student protests against discriminatory job quotas exploded into a mass uprising. The government's brutal response resulted in over 1,400 people being killed, mostly by security forces firing on protesters, which only intensified the movement. On August 5th, as tens of thousands converged on her palatial residence, military leaders delivered a stark warning. They could no longer guarantee her safety. By 3 p.m., Hasina was on a helicopter to India. The power vacuum was immediate. 3 days later, Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel Peace Prize-winning economist, was sworn in as chief advisor to Bangladesh's interim government. And then something remarkable happened. Instead of making his first official visit to India, as Bangladeshi leaders traditionally do, Yunus flew to China. The symbolism was unmistakable. China's ambassador in Dhaka called it the most important visit by any Bangladeshi leader in half a century. Yunus declared that Bangladesh-China relations had entered a new stage. For India, watching its closest ally in South Asia pivot toward its greatest rival, the message was clear. The game had changed. China hasn't wasted a moment. During Yunus's March 2025 visit to Beijing, Yunus secured $2.1 billion in investments, loans, and grants. Nearly 30 Chinese companies pledged $1 billion for a dedicated Chinese industrial economic zone in Bangladesh. China offered $400 million to modernize Mongla Port, Bangladesh's second-largest port. And in a move that sent shockwaves through New Delhi, China proposed a 50-year master plan for water resource management in Bangladesh. Over the past 2 decades, Bangladesh has achieved something remarkable: consistent 6 to 7% GDP growth, lifting millions out of poverty. The secret? Garments. Bangladesh is the world's second-largest clothing exporter after China. Those $10 shirts at H&M and Zara? Probably made in Bangladesh. The ready-made garment industry employs 4 million workers, mostly women, and accounts for 85% of Bangladesh's exports. It's transformed the country from one of the world's poorest nations into a lower middle-income country. The optimistic scenario suggests Bangladesh can lever this competition to its advantage. By playing major powers against each other, Bangladesh could secure better terms on loans, attract more foreign investment, and accelerate its development trajectory. The country has successfully graduated from least developed country status and is projected to become one of the world's 25 largest economies by 2035. The pessimistic scenario is darker. Bangladesh could become a battleground for proxy conflicts, suffer economic retaliation from whichever power it disappoints, or accumulate unsustainable debt. The country's dependence on India for electricity, food, and raw materials makes it vulnerable to pressure from New Delhi. Simultaneously, its growing reliance on Chinese capital, technology, and military equipment creates dependencies that Beijing could exploit. As Chinese influence grows, Indian anxiety intensifies, and American attention wavers. Bangladesh walks a tightrope with no safety net. One misstep could mean economic collapse, military pressure, or loss of sovereignty. But success could establish Bangladesh as a model for how developing nations navigate the new great game. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.